Morant with a pump fake. Oh, better hit than yeah!
Approach became
Bartez! What is your profession?
He's a three-point shooter.
That's a man's chance!
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the start of the week, and welcome to the end of the month. That's right, guys. We are finally about to close this treacherous January red candle for Bitcoin. Now, the thing to note is that unless something absolutely insane happens within the next 24 hours, we are actually going to close this daily candle higher than this low candle down here that we closed in June of last year. So that actually still suggests that Bitcoin is in fact on an uptrend, but I can hear you right now. There is still that fear, there is still that uncertainty, and there is still one max pain scenario possible for Bitcoin moving forward. But you know what, guys? There is something we need to talk about right now, something incredible that is happening. This is actually massive for Bitcoin, and not a lot of people are paying attention to it. Now, in today's video, I want to go over some data that we have on what is going on with these Bitcoin exchange outflows. There have been a lot of whales purchasing Bitcoin recently. These are purchases of over $1 million at a time. Who is actually purchasing this? Well, I do have some hints, and this could let us know what we could be expecting for Bitcoin moving forward into this year. I believe there is a massive shift happening for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now, and you do not want to get left behind. It's not going to be easy. But then again, the best things in life aren't always easy, are they? So in today's video, we are going to talk about what this is, these huge clues to who is accumulating, what is happening right now, and what is this major shift that we can expect this year for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And of course, we are going to look at the short-term price action, because I know you guys love to see those short-term charts. So with all that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you are not subscribed yet, get subscribed, turn on the bell notification, hit the like button if you enjoy these updates that I bring to you for the most part every single day. And without further ado, let's get into the chart right now, guys. So, let's have a look. So the one thing that we have noticed particularly, I just want to start off here and then we'll look into the charts. You do notice that it is very uncommon for Bitcoin to have more than 3 consecutive months in the red. You can see right here, this is clearly going to be our third candle close in the red. Now, we are putting in a higher low. This is good for Bitcoin. We have not lost the macro bullish structure, even though you might be thinking to yourself, well, things have been pretty terrible for Bitcoin these past few months. Well, of course, when you are living through it day by day, it can seem terrible, but really when you zoom out, this is very good. And honestly, if you look at this, even in downtrends, even in Bitcoin downtrends, with the exception of, massive capitulation, for the most part, we usually look for that bounce. So this could suggest to us that February is going to be a very bullish month for Bitcoin. Now, not saying it's going to happen instantly, right? May not happen. Don't forget, we still have the news from the Fed coming out in March. But if we do have a look here, look at this market structure, guys. So we are still being very nice supported, especially on the CME futures. And you can see that there was a lot of buying in this area. You can see the VPVR shows you the significance of this area. And I do think that we are seeing the accumulation. You can also see this on the futures contracts over on Binance. Now, this is on the daily. This is 7-day chart. We still have a very, very nice uptrend. The uptrend on the spider lines has not been broken yet. We are very close to the bottom, but it has not been broken yet. So this is definitely a good thing moving forward for Bitcoin. The biggest problem right now that we've had is this falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, guys. Like I said, you could basically take this whole bottom out if you want. Doesn't really matter. The point is we cannot break above this resistance. Every single time we hit it, we get rejected, and we did get rejected here again. However, you will notice that on this candle right down here, okay, where we had Bitcoin hit the $42,000 level, we saw this very, very huge volume, right? And look at this, guys. We saw a lot of volume right here as well. So who is buying? Well, if we have a look at the VPVR, and I'll get there in just a second, you could see that we have a massive accumulation zone right here between around 32,500 and around the area that we're at pretty much right now, 37,900, 38,000, depending on what chart you're looking at. But for the most part, guys, you could see that there is a lot of structure, a lot of support being built here, and a lot of accumulation, which shows us that there are a lot of market participants that have been buying heavily in these areas, not to mention the fact that we are oversold on the RSI, basically on all the charts, but this is the 3-day. So Bitcoin usually doesn't tend to do more than 3 months in a downtrend unless you're going into a prolonged bear market, which some people are saying that's a possibility. I think we could have a mini bear cycle. I think that's what we're having right now. I'm not fully convinced on the bear market, like we're going to go for a whole year and Bitcoin's just going to keep trending downwards. But interestingly enough, you could see if you do want to look through multiple market cycles and you do want to look at past VPVR accumulation, you could see there was so much accumulation between $6,400 and $9,800 between 2017 and before we started to blast off right here around July of 2020. Now you could see something happening right here where we did in fact have this major capitulation. We had this sort of rounded top, almost like we have right here. And then we did have that dump. And a lot of people were saying it wasn't strong enough. There's no way we're going to flip the resistance into support. It was fun while it lasted, guys. Pack it up and let's go back. But here is the kicker. So I say this all the time on the channel, but this time it's coming from the man himself, Nayib Bukele from El Salvador. He says there are more than 50 million millionaires in the world today. Imagine when each one of them decides they should own at least one Bitcoin. But there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That is not enough Bitcoin for even half of them to own one Bitcoin. A gigantic price increase is just a matter of time.
Finish him!
Now, is this just a bunch of fancy talk? Have we heard this too many times before, or does it actually matter? Well, let's start with the big story that I had mentioned in my previous video, and I know this is older news at this point, but stick with me because it's going to play into the bigger narrative. So, we have Senator Wendy Rogers' new proposal to institute Bitcoin as legal tender may be problematic, as the United States Constitution does not permit a state to create its own legal tender. Now, if you don't know this bill, it's dubbed SB 1341, and it could see citizens opting to receive their salaries in Bitcoin, and companies could use Bitcoin as they see fit. However, here is an excerpt from the U.S. Constitution itself that says, Congress shall have power to coin money, regulate the value therefore, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measurements. So if we were to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, it would have to be something that would be done on the federal level. It could not be done with states, at least not according to the Constitution. I don't know what would happen if they tried. I have no idea how laws work as far as the federal government and states are concerned, but I do know that according to this Constitution in this excerpt, you really can't technically do that. But is it a possibility? We saw El Salvador adopt the Bitcoin standard. We know Turkey is looking to follow in their footsteps. Max Kaiser pointed out that he knows another country that's also looking to follow in potentially both of their footsteps. But would the US ever accept Bitcoin as full-on legal tender? Now, whether or not we'd want that, I don't know. Right now, it's classified as property rights. Would you want it to be classified as money because then it's going to be taxed like money? That's a story for another day. But it's happening. It is happening right now. And as depressed as everybody is, and they're sad because price is down 50%, most people, unfortunately, are missing the bigger picture. So we talked about the banks. Well, guys, here's an update. An estimated 300 community banks in the U.S. are reportedly set to begin offering Bitcoin trading via mobile apps in response to a high demand from their clients. So according to a report by American Banker, around 300 community banks in the United States are looking to offer Bitcoin trading to clients within the first or second quarter of this year. This is with help from NYDIG. NYDIG, keep that in your mind. So we have Harold Reynolds, the CEO of Georgia-based Bank South with over $1.3 billion in assets, has said, quote, "We have seen significant activity in cryptocurrency transactions from our customers' accounts, and a few investments have been rather large. So that is obviously getting our attention." So what do we have here, guys? Well, Oklahoma-based Vast Bank reported that it successfully executed an end-to-end crypto transaction, therefore becoming the first nationally chartered financial institution to both purchase and provide custody services for a digital asset on behalf of a customer and directly from their bank account. So this was not using something, going through this or that. This was directly from their bank account. Not to mention the fact that on January 25th, Flushing Financial Corporation, which is the parent holding company for Flushing Bank, issued a press release to announce that it had entered into an agreement with NYDIG to offer Bitcoin services to its clients. So let me ask you this, my friends. Why is all of this happening? Why is all of this happening in the background? Why are the 300 community banks in the US looking to offer crypto services directly? In fact, they say Bitcoin, not even crypto, Bitcoin specifically in 2022, if it is a Ponzi, if it is a bubble, right? That is the question we need to be asking. Well, look at what's happening. Look at what is happening. So February 1st to February 2nd, which is essentially the next 2 days, we have MicroStrategy hosting Bitcoin for corporations. Now, according to Michael Saylor, you will hear from experts in Bitcoin strategy, treasury, accounting, law, technology, trading, custody, payments, and banking. Who do you think is going to be there? What do you think is happening? What is the purpose in them even doing this? Now, let's scroll down and look at some of the people that are going to be there. Obviously, Michael Saylor. We have Jack Dorsey, the previous CEO of Twitter, Aubrey Strobel. She's been on the news a lot. Lynn Alden recently had a conversation with our good old buddy Gareth Salloway. He's a bit of a bear. But, she takes a very straightforward approach to it, and she obviously believes in Bitcoin. Oh, and this guy down here, Robert Gutman, the co-founder and chief executive officer of NYDIG. That's interesting. So we're seeing all of these banks collaborating with NYDIG, looking to bring Bitcoin to their clients. Why would they be doing this? What's happening? I thought Bitcoin was going to zero. I thought it was failing. I thought it was falling. Well, guys, check this out. It gets deeper. In the latest Blockware Intelligence newsletter, Will Clemente has said that Bitcoin whales, or entities with more than 1,000 Bitcoin, have finally started adding to their balance after months of selling. Now, this is whales that have been selling, buying back in. This isn't even the new entities, which we'll get to in a minute. But in addition, he says that the bigger players in the market are dominating Bitcoin's transaction volume and have only been gaining a bigger presence in 2022. The front running primarily came from an entity of Coinbase as Bitcoin reached local lows just below 33,000. A fairly aggressive bid stepped in from Coinbase. Now, interestingly enough, according to Willy Woo, we have actually seen exchange net flows continue, as you guys can see right here, continue to flow out of exchanges. So, of course, we know that you can clearly do over-the-counter trades, but these are trades that are happening specifically on exchanges, and we are seeing Bitcoin outflows. Not only that, but coins moving to and from whale holders have actually signaled that the whales have been buying. So there's been a lot of panic selling, as I told you recently, from these newer market participants, people that got in last year. And then the Bitcoin price didn't go to 100,000, and they were very sad about this, so they sold all their Bitcoin. Well, guess what, guys? They've been selling to the whales. Now, before we get into who these whales could be, an interesting point, just because we are talking about Willy Woo and some on-chain data, shout out to Checkmate BTC for pointing this out. Bitcoin is currently trading between the 28-day and 90-day fair value model based on the NVT. These models were developed by Willy Woo and reflect an estimated market value based on on-chain volumes, or in other words, network utility. The 90-day NVT premium right now, right as I'm making this video, is in a zone of historical macro undervaluation. So this is suggesting that Bitcoin has entered into the prime accumulation zone. Now, of course, this doesn't say that we can't potentially go down to 28,000 or something crazy like that, right? Anything can happen on the daily. But when you zoom out and you have a look at the macro trend, you could see that all these guys that said, I'm not buying, it's too expensive, right? These guys don't want to buy after it's 5, 10x. They want to get in at the cheap discounts. Smart money wants to buy at the prime opportunity. And right now, historically, we are looking at the best, the fairest, okay, most fair time, best opportunity to be buying crypto right now. Now let's go back to the data. So according to Glassnode, the balance of Bitcoin on exchanges is currently at the lowest point in the last 3 years, suggesting diminishing sell-side pressure for Bitcoin. In addition, Glassnode says that the vast majority of all transfer volume on the Bitcoin network is dominated by institutional-sized flows, suggesting that the big players are starting to take control of Bitcoin. Bitcoin transfer volume has continued to be dominated by institutional size flows, with more than 65% of all transactions being larger than the $1 million, or they're bigger than $1 million essentially. So these are big purchases. These are purchases of $1 million worth of Bitcoin at a time. Who's buying right now? Why are they buying right now? Do they know something we don't? Why are banks collaborating with NYDIG? Why is NYDIG speaking in the next day at this Bitcoin for Corporations conference held by Michael Saylor? Well, interestingly enough, guys, recently things have been happening. And what has been going on? Well, as I told you guys, the first European politician has chose to announce he will be accepting his full salary in Bitcoin. So this is a member of parliament in Belgium, Christopher de Buchler, okay? Now, it's not just him. He's not the first politician in the world to make this decision. We have Miami's Mayor Francis Suarez. We have Tampa Bay's Jane Castor. New York's Mayor Eric Adams have all made similar decisions as well, while creating policies that would encourage blockchain-related activity growth in the region. Not to mention, sports personalities like UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou have all begun accepting their pay in Bitcoin. Now, here's where it gets good. According to a recent report by Unusual Whales, a platform that tracks unusual market activity, more Congress members seem to already be taking positions in the wider crypto industry. While some seem to have invested directly in crypto assets, the resource tracked some lawmakers who have either directly or indirectly been investing into crypto. They say despite the uncertainty created by Biden's infrastructure bill, which seeks to sneak in some crypto legislation, we do have Congress trading around 290 million in stocks, 140 million in options, and 124 million in other securities, which include cryptocurrencies. As per the report, Washington made a total of 25 direct trades across 12 different cryptocurrencies. So let's talk about this. Senator Pat Toomey, who has been quite outspoken and an ardent supporter of crypto, he bought $30,000. He also added equal shares of Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust, and Ethereum as well to his portfolio. Now, seems very small. He only bought $30,000. Well, that's only what we're hearing. We don't really know everything right now, right? We have Alabama Representative Barry Moore. He's hoarding Cardano. He's got $45,000 worth of Cardano and $15,000 worth of Ethereum, or at least that's what they tell us. Representative Mark Green, who has also been the first lawmaker to disclose his crypto investments, has invested in a wide variety of cryptocurrencies. Now, although having stayed on the sidelines in crypto matters, Democrat Marie Newman purchased at least $50,000 stake in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Now, at this point, while we only have 6 congressional members that have publicly disclosed their crypto holdings, it is believed that more could be holding crypto-related assets, such as shares in Coinbase, Nvidia, and PayPal, albeit through proxy means. So something is clearly happening here. We have U.S. lawmakers purchasing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We also have U.S. lawmakers trying, or at least suggesting, to make Bitcoin legal tender. Now, although we know the constitutional laws prohibit such thing, could there be enough demand from enough states that we do end up getting Bitcoin accepted as, legal tender on the federal level? It is a possibility. It does make you wonder There must be something happening in the background. We also have this upcoming Bitcoin for corporations. And we've had the whale data right here that has showed you that essentially we are seeing buying from bigger players. He literally says probably institutional money. And if we have a look over here, you can clearly see that there's been massive purchases from potential institutions, whales, $1 million purchases at a time. And not to mention the fact that we also have Russia saying that a ban on crypto would be counterproductive. We need to support the mining. We need to embrace it and tax it. And this could potentially create a global race for Bitcoin mining domination. And we've already seen it happening in states like Texas, in states like Florida. Now we have this Arizona bill. Guys, big things are on the horizon. So what could be the max pain scenario, right? I said in the beginning of the video, max pain scenario. Well, I don't necessarily think that it would be a big crash or something that would just horrify people. We've already had the crash. We've crashed. We fell 50%. But like Rickus points out, it will be important to respect the bear case. In my opinion, you should be careful not to be left behind if the below scenario does play out. And this is what I will be personally expecting. Risk management, will be the key here, and I will react accordingly. And this is taking the fractal, essentially, of where I showed you the last time, where we had that major accumulation right down here, and we fell down, right, this little hump, and people freaked out and said, it's it, throw in the towel, it's over. Well, guess what, guys? Look at all this accumulation that the whales were able to do down here, and these people panic sold because they thought it was over. Well, imagine that max pain scenario where we dance around again. What if we continue sideways for the next 4 months? What if Bitcoin bounces between 28,000 and 42,000 for the next 6 months? Will you be bored? Will you walk away? How many people will forget about crypto? How many people will move on? But as I told you guys, it is those boring times, those lengthy, drawn out cases where you're like, what is happening? That provide the greatest opportunities. And I can tell you right now, I don't have definitive evidence, but I can sure surmise that a lot of these institutions know what's happening. They know what's coming. They know the future. Someone has insight into this executive order that Biden's about to come out with. Why are corporations holding this with MicroStrategy in 2 days? Why are banks looking to offer crypto to their clients, over 300 of them? Why are Congress members buying Bitcoin? Why are politicians accepting their pay in Bitcoin? Why is Russia saying, no, we don't want to ban it. We want to embrace it. We want to tax mining. We want to be the mining leader. This is not the type of news that you get from a failing asset class, from a falling, nascent technology that's failed. No, this is amazing, guys. It's huge. Be excited. And these boring times, these dips, maybe you did buy too high. But you know what? You could potentially get a 6-month window, an opportunity, a blessing disguised as a curse. Because once we take off, that's it, guys. That's it. Once we take off, that's it. I don't believe we'll ever come down to these levels again. Personally, I really think that this will be it. There is too much consolidation. Just like we're having this consolidation here, the way that we had this consolidation back here, once we moved above that level, you could see there was virtually, look at this. Look at the VPVR. There's almost nothing in this area. There's no trading. There's virtually this little accumulation level right here at around 20,000. Oh, because it was the big, we're breaking 20,000. That's it. And look at this, guys. Boom. And this is what markets do. They do this. They bore you out. They chop you up. They drag on. You think it's over. You lose interest. And then what do? What do? They go from $10,000 to $70,000. What do you think is happening right now? Same thing that happened back here, guys. Different structure, doesn't look the same. It's not a fractal, but I'll tell you what, human greed and human fear does not change. Emotions don't change. So have a look at what's happening right now and realize that we are still early, my friends. And when you look at the fact that, less than 1% or like 1% of the world is even invested in cryptocurrency, and when you look at it compared to the global monetary, the M2, right? Compare it to that. My goodness, 3%, captured just 3%. And you're talking $1 million per Bitcoin. So hope this is your daily hopium on a Monday. I love you guys. You're awesome. I had to break this down to you. I think these guys are buying. I think they're accumulating. I think they know what's coming. And everyone out here that's freaking out, panic selling, sitting on the sideline, or just losing interest, well, sorry guys, but when your friends start calling you up in a few months now, when Bitcoin's back up to 70,000, or even if it takes, to the end of the year to get back to that level, show them this video and explain to them, well, I stayed through it. You stayed through it. We stayed through it, right? And we are going to be the ones that benefit. And these guys know what's happening in the background. Trust me. So that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. It was so much of me today. I had no interviews, no clips, no news videos, just good old-fashioned K-Dub talking for 26 minutes straight. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You rock. You're awesome. I love you. Be safe out there. Keep stacking. Keep hodling. I love you. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. Check out these videos right here, right now. And until next time, peace out.